Hi there everyone. I wanted to say that I'm sorry the following video, the audio that got recorded was very weird and it's not that good. So I apologize for that and I really don't know what went wrong, but I will make sure that doesn't happen again. I will try my best actually. And yeah, so please watch the video. And if you like it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's move on to the video. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's been so long that I've uploaded a video to this channel. I know I was not in a very good condition mentally, to be honest, and I was also busy with a lot of stuff, so that's why I couldn't really upload many videos in the past month. And I really thought I would, but then again, I just was not feeling it. So I hope you all can forgive me for that. People who used to watch me regularly, like I don't have a huge following, but still. But anyways, what I want to talk about today is what happened very recently. So there's this national education council in India that's called NCERT, that's the abbreviated form, and they recently introduced a manual for teachers under them for to sensitize them on queer issues, LGBTQIA plus issues, mainly gender issues, and the inclusion of transgender students, basically that. So it seemed like a very progressive move and everything, but I wasn't very optimistic about it. I mean, I'm not that much of an optimist anyway. But when my friend showed me the news, I was like, well, I'm not very optimistic, because just like a couple of days before that, the news I got is there's this bank in India, Axis Bank. They, back in September, 2 months ago, they introduced this feature, they can a couples, gay couples, basically can have a joint savings account without being married, because gay marriage is not legally recognized in India. It's been challenged in the High Court, Delhi High Court, but we haven't gotten anywhere with it yet. The Senate is against it, of course, the government is against it, but let's see what that happens. But yeah, so they made this initiation, gay couples can have joint savings account without getting married in India, because you cannot get married in India if you're gay. They did that and people thought, oh, that's quite progressive of them, for India. But recently we've heard the news, gay couples who went to Axis Bank to have a joint savings account, they were refused. Axis Bank employees, they told them that there is no such way for partners, they just using that to get a joint savings account. And which is weird, because 2 months back, Axis Bank sent that notice. They tweeted about it, they have it on their website and everything, yada yada. And the employees, they did not sensitize their employees about it. They did not even train their employees how it works or anything. None of the employees knew. And this is not just one couple, a lot of couples said they've got this issue, they encountered this issue. So yeah, I don't know exactly, I haven't experienced it and I haven't seen any news reports on it, but yeah, that's what's happening apparently. So I was not optimistic about this either. But what happened next is some Hindu right-wing activist got offended, the right wing got offended, and he filed a complaint saying this is horrible, and the child rights body in India issued a notice to the Education Council that you cannot have this manual, or correct the issues that are with this manual, things like that. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at the news articles regarding this issue. So yeah, let's take a look at them. So the first news article I have is not this is not the first article I want to show you, but I want to show you this article. So I think the heading is a bit cut in the video, so let me just read out the heading for you. The heading is NCERT's new training manual. NCERT is the Education Council, as I told you. Manual to sensitize teachers about LGBTQIA plus children in schools. So the highlights of this is the National Council of Educational Research and Training (NCERT) has released a training manual for teachers titled Inclusion of Transgender Children in School Education, Concerns and Roadmap. The manual explains concepts such as gender identity, gender incongruence, gender dysphoria, gender affirmation, gender expression, gender conformity, gender variance. It also provides definitions of terms that people use to identify themselves, for instance, gender fluid, agender, trans feminine, and trans masculine. And the highlights look really good, actually. Really progressive by world standards, since trans rights, like, I know there are a lot of first world countries where trans people have gotten quite a few rights, but trans rights are still, like, it has a long way to go, even more so than gay rights, if I should say so. But yeah, so they released this training manual on their website. It was published by the Department of Gender Studies at NCERT. So let's read through this article a bit. Create awareness about genders, non-conformity, gender identity. By the way, if you hear any kind of like noises outside, it's because it's Diwali and people are bursting fireworks like crackers stuff. So that's where we're getting the noise. But yeah, let's read through this article. The manual explains concepts such as gender identity, gender incongruence, gender dysphoria, gender affirmation, gender expression, gender conformity, gender variance, heterosexuality, homosexuality, asexuality, bisexuality, trans negativity, etc. through a detailed glossary. There's a lot of terms. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in India have no idea about half of these terms, but it's so good to see them like just explaining these concepts. Like, the training manual should be good. It also provides definitions of terms that people use to identify themselves, for instance, gender fluid, agender, trans feminine, and trans masculine. By the way, for people who don't know, before like coming out as like transgender, like a trans woman, I sometimes refer to myself as trans feminine, because like I wasn't sure how people would react if I just outright said trans woman. So that's why I used to use the term back then, like back in the day. But yeah, let's move on. The training manual aims to sensitize teachers and teacher educators regarding aspects of gender diversity, keeping gender non-conforming and transgender children at center stage. It lists out practices and strategies to make schools sensitive and inclusive for transgender and gender non-conforming children. These strategies include the provision of gender-neutral toilets and uniforms, sensitization on non-teaching staff, discontinuing practices that segregate children into various school activities based on their gender, inviting members of transgender community to speak on campus, among others. It says that traditional segregation of toilets is used to brainwash children into believing that there are only two sexes, men and women. So quite a few things to go through, I guess. Let's see. So yeah, it basically lists. So the strategies include provision of gender neutral toilets and uniforms. I love this. Gender neutral toilets and uniforms. So with gender neutral toilets, I know what the argument, the opposition, like the people who hate it right now presenting, and even they've said like the traditional segregation of toilets is used to brainwash children. So here's the thing, children, because they are children, they are not adults, these students. We are not talking about adults here, and we are talking about India. Almost all of these children will most likely have a very conservative family, and people just don't understand, like, and these families, they won't agree to obviously these, and they won't, like all the schools that have these gender neutral toilets and everything, people will be very hesitant, people will protest, people will like riot and stuff if this happens. So I don't think it's a good move just to prevent the people from rioting and protesting. Like these conservative, they're insane. So just to keep them from doing that, because it is, if they do this, the children, these young children we're talking about, they won't be safe. Probably a lot of people won't be safe, because I think most people know what happens when conservatives go insane. So yeah, that's, so I don't think the move should be like just gender neutral toilet, one gender neutral toilet, that's it. Boys go there, girls go there, non-binary students go there. I don't think that should be the case. I think what should be like, I think most people will agree with me, there should be a boys toilet and a girls toilet and a gender neutral toilet. So it could be open to everyone. I know there have been some issues in some first world countries that have done that, but like I think this should be this is the best thing I can think of right now, having a gender neutral toilet in addition to those. And the argument the people who hate it is making, that there will be just one toilet, which I know will most likely not happen. But just saying, like even if it does by some weird chance, I don't think that's the best way to go. And I don't think these people who wrote this article, like not wrote this article, who wrote the manual, like who were thinking of this, would be doing that anyway. But yeah, so a third toilet for gender neutral purposes is good, and people just don't understand, like gender neutral toilets are there everywhere. Like the toilets in your home, like that's basically a gender neutral toilet. I don't understand. And like uniforms, I think it's great if people have gender neutral uniforms, students have gender neutral uniforms, that's good. And even in case they don't have gender neutral uniforms, I think students should be able to choose like which uniform they want to wear, and that's that. Obviously again, this is India we're talking about. Most of these children will have very conservative parents, and they won't be so accepting, so it will still be very hard for these kids, because back home they're just like what. But at least maybe in school, I don't know, what needs to be done, like in addition to this, is to sensitize the people, like the citizens of India on this, not just the teachers, because the kids, maybe let's say they're very happy in school and everything, but they go back home and find themselves like fucked by their parents. But it's a conservative society, what can we say? But yeah, this thing sounds good. Inviting members of transgender community to speak on campus, among others. Like there are many things, like I will go to the sports section soon. Inviting members of transgender community, that's a fantastic idea. Many like non-binary people, just binary trans people, like trans men and trans women, and that would be good. The only issue I have with this is, in India there's this community known as the Hijra community, and in my opinion they are more of a cultural identity. Hijra is more of cultural identity than the common misconception that they're a gender identity. They are not a gender identity, because Hijra communities can consist of like several like identities, like gender identities. Like they could be like just a cis guy cross-dressing, they could be trans women, trans men, just like non-binary, several like non-binary spectrum, people from the non-binary spectrum. There could be people from like everywhere. Like those are the gender identities, and Hijra is just these people living in this particular cultural thing, forming a group, forming a community. That's the Hijra community. So it's more of a cultural community in my opinion. So most people just use the term Hijra and transgender interchangeably. They just think all transgender people are Hijra. That's very not true. I am transgender, I'm a trans woman, and I'm not part of the hetero community. Nothing, I don't have anything against hetero individuals. Some of them are great. I have been in a relationship with one before, but this is the thing. There should be people like from all kinds of communities, like even in like Indian LGBTQ communities, in my opinion, is not that united, that they need to have guests from, like if they're having people to speak on the campus, they should have them from everywhere. Like there should be members from the Asian community as well. There should be trans people from not like outside the Asian communities as well to speak on the campus, because Indians often just use them interchangeably, which I am very uncomfortable with. Now, discontinuing practices that segregate children into various school activities based on their gender. So I don't know if you have seen that meme, like fourth grade teacher comes to there's this meme kind of thing, class, and asks for like a guy, a strong guy who can lift chairs, and this girl who's already tired of sexism and misogyny is like, yep, no, I'm doing it. So yeah, but girls can do it, and I think people don't realize, like girls, like cis girls, during like when they start puberty, around the, I think it's still like from 9 to 12, I think, I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but they are actually stronger than cis boys. So there's that, a bit stronger. So yeah, and even in sports, like no people say there's like a lot of discourse on trans people in sports, but these are kids we're talking about, they are more or less around the same capability, I guess, in different kinds of sports, especially if they have like gender neutral uniforms. Like it won't be like your boys have the trousers and girls are wearing skirts, so girls cannot keep up with the boys. No, there's none of that shit if you have like gender neutral uniforms as well, at least for the sports. But yeah, like school activities and what else, like all other kinds of functions. Yeah, I don't see any particular activity where segregation needs to be there. It doesn't need to be there anywhere. Like I think this is like really good. Even in sports, even in the sports of kids, I think like just let's say a cricket match, yeah, girls and guys like keep playing in the same match, and I think that's good. I don't see any issues with this. I know there's a huge discourse on this, but I would just assume that's for adults. Kids, I absolutely don't see any issues. Like I think all kids like of the same capability. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's my opinion for now. Let's move on. The document says the use of toilets and infrastructural facility is used to condition children into binary gender. Female children are conditioned to use the toilets labeled girls, and male children are to use the toilet part for boys. Phew! Which is why I did not like going to toilets in schools. As I grew up, even more so, and to this day I am very uncomfortable going to public toilets. Not after I come out, but after I came out is that I don't want to get beaten up. I don't want to go into the men's restroom, but I don't want to get beaten up if I enter the women's restroom either. Chances are low. I have been to public restrooms, women's restrooms. There have been no problems. There was one point when I was by mistake, I was about to enter the men's restroom, and a security guard nearby told me, ma'am, the women's restroom is the other way, which was a bit embarrassing, also a bit euphoric, I guess. But yeah, there's not always a problem, also because I pass, I guess. I look very ugly now, sorry, but when I go out or wear the mask because of the pandemic thingy, so I'm less noticeable, and I think I pass. I like to think at least. But yeah, toilets, yeah, as I said, like I think there still should be girls and boys toilets, but with an extra option where all of them, like girls can go and boys can go and non-binary kids can go in, like yeah, because just removing the entire like thing, the binary, like just having one specific toilet will be very problematic considering this is conservative society. So that should not be the first move. I think that should be the goal. I mean, that's where I would like it to go eventually, but if it starts that way, I think there could be problems. It also includes a section where it lists out the achievements of transgender people who serve as role model. It features engineer Grace Manu, bodybuilder Aryan Bashar, dancer Nartaki Nataraj, community researcher Santa Kurai, university professor Manovi Bandyopadhyay, medical doctor and professor Dr. Afsar Sheikh, news anchor Padmini Prakash, among others. So yeah, that's a bit for this article. And we have like I think this also a trans man who became a pilot, but he's not mentioned here. So this was basically about it. But the next thing I want to show is the conservative response, the right-wing response, which is very spicy. So there's this if you're not from India and you're watching this, there's this thing like the site called Op India, and it's like a far right news site. It's not a news site, it's a fake news site, but they do give out some like news time to time. They are the equivalent of what's up far right in the US, Fox, but Fox still like, I don't know if Fox gives out fake news. But yeah, so anyways, this a far right fake news site which does give out news but in a very biased way when they do. I am going to read through their article, and I have not read it before, so let's see. The heading, the title of the article for people who can't see the entire thing is NCRT goes woke, claims separate toilets for boys and girls is a problem, suggests puberty blockers, blames caste patriarchy for stigma. Such as puberty blockers, I did not read this in the previous article. Did they mention puberty blockers anywhere? I cannot see. I don't. But let's tackle that in this article. So yeah, woke NCRT. I will call them anything but woke. In my opinion, NCRT is like okay, I guess. They're certainly not woke. I don't know. Let's see. The National Council NCRT has decided to go full woke in a new training manual for teachers that was released recently. Everything is woke for these like far righties. Like everything is woke. Like hey, here's a basic human rights. Like this is a human rights issue, I think, and like maybe I should give you some more rights and like not discriminate against you. And far rights everywhere be like woke. But yeah, like anything, like these people are crazy, insane. The document titled Inclusion of Transgender Children in School Education Concerns and Roadmap was published by the Gender of Studies at NCRT. Yeah, I've read that. The objective of the manual is to we read through that as well. Oh, they actually gave screenshots from the training manual, which is good. We'll see. In a section of the document that discusses issues related to infrastructure, it says that toilets are used to brainwash children into believing that there are only two sexes, men and women. Yeah, there is, I guess. I mean, you know, I would certainly, I mean, I do believe there are more than two sexes as well, but when people talk about this, they gender, I don't know, like these people don't even know the difference between sex and gender. So yeah, never mind, moving on. There's a whole can of worms I don't want to open right now. The document says the use of toilet and infrastructural facility is used to condition we read that female children are conditioned to use the toilets. Yeah, we read through that in the previous article. So this is what it is. Um, in continuation with the above discussion on binary structures, I did not read that. I need to get this manual somewhere. I need to go through that. These binaries keep separating individuals throughout life by associating different infrastructures to different genders. Many infrastructures in schools are exclusive to a specific gender. Okay, so okay, single sex schools for girls and boys. Yeah, I think two boys schools and girls schools like these, they are like shit. I think it should be co-ed schools. Toilets, changing room facilities, sports, hostel facilities, common rooms, etc. Most school buildings have separate toilets for only two genders. Young children are conditioned to choose socially acceptable behaviors, that is gender expression commensurate with their birth assigned sex. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think the previous article also did this thing. Anyway, I don't want to spend time on that. Look, what the article like Op India, like they said, are used to brainwash children into believing that there are only two sexes, men and women. What the actual NCERT training manual says, I have separate toilets for only two genders. There's boys and girls. Like, people watching, I hope you know the difference between sex and gender. They did not use in the article, they did not use the correct word, like the exact word that is mentioned in the training manual. Again, these idiots have no clue about the difference between sex and gender. They just gender, this I like this. I had a problem. I was about to say, like, I would have preferred if this was gender, like the manual mentioned genders instead of sexes, and they did apparently. But these people, these freaking idiots, they are the ones mentioning sex. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we're good. I'm good with the training manual. It mentions genders instead of sexes. Now, I don't want to open the can of worms like gender and sex, like why I want to I would prefer this, but like, let's go with it for now. Like, I like that they're using two genders, the word gender instead of sex here. But yeah, this seems good. Let's see. The document asks children who face gender dysphoria feel conflict/dilemma while choosing the toilet that they feel comfortable. This is mainly because their self-concept and social expectations of their body do not coincide with each other. Oh gosh, yes. The presence of binaries in infrastructures also creates conflicts for gender non-conforming children. Find it difficult to make a choice at such a young age. It is an emotionally charged decision that additionally burdens them. They get it! They actually get it! Oh my gosh, they actually get this. So trans children, if they, like, I did, in my case I did, I cannot speak for every trans people out there. If they figure out, like I did, I figured out that what's expected of me is not something I am, or I want to be, or I want to do. That's just not how it is. I realized that when I was 5, and growing up was very difficult. Like, I have to wear pants, I cannot wear, like, I used to keep, like, in shopping malls, I used to look at the girls sections to check out those dresses, and I'm not expected to wear those. Actually, I am expected to not wear those. It's not even like, oh, I'm not expected to wear those, but if I wear, it's not really that much of a problem. No, I'm expected to not wear those, like, actively. There's a difference. I hope you get what I mean. But yeah, and this is, they get this, like, those expectations, self-concept, like, of self, they don't coincide. That's what causes the dysphoria. So this, I like this. In its introduction section, the document blames caste patriarchy for stigma against transgender community. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see this some religion here. It is in addition to the unfounded claims that there were multiple genders in the Vedic age. It states there is evidence for diverse genders and gender expression socially accepted in this continents in the Vedic age. Vanita and Kidwai, dozen mil Raj 2015. However, the dominant social system of caste patriarchy in India has relegated transgender persons to a operation that is stigmatized. Let's read the introduction, shall we? The long and hard struggle behind the current status and scenario with respect to transgender persons in a country can be understood by looking at the history of their being. Transgender persons have a long history of existence in every society, but they have created a particularly strong history of visibility in this continent of South Asia. There is evidence for diverse genders and gender expression being socially accepted in this continent since the Vedic age. However, the dominant social system of caste patriarchy in India has relegated transgender persons to occupations that are stigmatized. The fall in status of transgender persons was induced systematically under British rule in the form of punishment and regulated movement of transgender groups who live in India during that time. British colonialism criminalized transgender persons and consolidated this process by categorizing transgender persons as criminal crime under the Criminal Tribes Act. Transgender persons were ridiculed in British colonial accounts and have suffered mistreatment and inhuman behavior. Yada yada yada. Unfortunately, some of these things. Okay, so some parts agree and some parts I disagree. It is very much true, like the British rule in the suppression and the oppression of the queer people. Gay sex was not criminalized before the British rule, not to my knowledge. They introduced like the Indian Penal Code. It was criminalized 3 years ago in 2018. It has a different history, I won't go into that, but yeah, the British have had a lot to do with this, the oppression. However, I have an issue with this saying like different gender identities and expressions were like socially accepted throughout the subcontinent. So a few things. There are Hindu apologists who say, oh, Hinduism accepts LGBTQ individuals. Like Hindu scriptures, Hindu history, they have all accepted different gender identities before like the Mughals and the British. I don't say why they keep saying Mughals when they just mean Muslims, like there were Muslim rulers in India before Mughals, but I don't know. But anyway, they oppress the queer people and Hinduism doesn't support. I disagree with that. However, like those people, like a lot of those people are, like most of those people are right wing, and they love sites like this of India. Now, of India, it says here these are unfounded claims. I mean, that's something I say. I mean, not exactly. So I'll see I'll give my stance on this, but yeah. So it's very kind of, I don't know, it's a bit interesting to see like these people who, when they're trying to bash like foreigners, Muslims, they just go to like, yeah, Indian culture has always accepted these people. It's just the British and the Mughals who have like done horrible things to them. And now when it comes to this, when an article like inclusion manual states like, yeah, India has, and it was the British who did that, they agreed with them, they're suddenly going back and just saying, oh, these are unfounded claims, there's no evidence, yada yada yada. This is very interesting. But my stance on this is like, I don't think various gender expressions and identities were socially accepted. I do believe they were socially tolerated. They have been talked about in mythology. In mythology, you can see gods, half male, half female gods, and other things. Like you have kind of weird characters in a lot of cases. The punishment gods gave to a man was like they turned him into a woman as punishment. So including those, I'm including those as well into this queer characters in Hindu mythology list. That's a very sexist thing, like, oh yeah, you're a man, I've turned you into a woman. Like, not even sexist, it's like, but anyway, that was like the kind of punishment things, and like these are representations. But for gay people, like there have been representations of gay couples and everything, like in the, like carvings of the temples, and like they have even talked about these people in what's the Kama Sutra. Why the fuck did I forget? But yeah, however, when you read the Kama Sutra, it's not like, oh yeah, that's very like open and everything. It's not, not speaking of gay sex just in the same way they're speaking of straight sex. It's kind of understandable, at least it was to me when I read it. Gay sex is not looked upon that well. It seems like, yeah, they were recognized, people knew that these people exist, queer people exist. They tolerated their existence. They were not like, it's not like hardcore Islamic or Christian society where like they were actively persecuted, like, yeah, hunt them down or something. But they were tolerated, their existences were tolerated, but not like, they were not very accepted into the society. Like, oh yeah, this person exists, let's stay away from them, I guess. Kind of like that. So that's my opinion. Yeah, it was better than Islamic and Christian societies in the past, but it's nowhere near enough. Moving on, it just reiterates the introduction. The document also mentions that in February 2020, only 25 transgender students is registered for the class 10 and class 12 exams. These are the board exams in India. At 10th grade, you give a board exam, and after 12th grade, you give another one. There are two examinations in India. 19 of 18 lakh, which is like 1.8 million. There's almost 2 million students registered for the class 10 exams were transgender, and that number was 6 from 1.2 million for class 12. The document recommends discontinuance of binary practices in school, classrooms, activities, sports, etc. It says separate roles for boys and girls during assembly, school functions, seating arrangements in classrooms, gender-wise separate uniforms, working groups for assignments, excursions, etc. should be discontinued. Mixed groups should be allowed, gender-neutral uniforms can be introduced, etc. Hey, not the article, but the training manual, I think that's good. So here's the thing, during assembly functions, it has always been weird to me even as a kid, like girls had a separate line they were standing, and boys had this separate different line. This never mixed. It was weird. They have to be like that. Seating arrangements, I think the seating arrangements thing depends, like there are many kinds, like some they're like mixed, in some of them they are not. In my case, I have seen both, and mostly the most common one in my school was they are mixed, girls and guys, but it's just that girls, like there were two students had to sit on one bench, and two girls sat together and two boys sat together. And when we were kids, as a punishment, some teachers would just make a boy sitting beside a girl as a punishment. That was supposed to be a punishment, sitting beside your opposite gender. That was supposed to be a punishment. I mean, weird, but yeah. So seating arrangements, gender-wise separate uniforms. Yeah, I actually agree. Gender-wise separate uniforms is dumb. And even if you have it, just let the students decide which ones to wear, because I think some of my biases are coming out here in the uniforms case, because as a kid I was always like wanted to like wear, like go to school, like wanted to be a girl. But yeah, I wanted to go to school wearing the girl's uniform. I wanted to be seen as a girl. That was me as a kid. I did not want to be seen as a boy. So in case of like the existence of binary uniforms, I had to dress up as a boy, which is not good, not a pleasant experience. I wanted to dress up as a girl. So now when I think of like gender neutral uniform, like one uniform for everyone, I just remember that, oh my gosh, I'll be dressing up as, like, if I was there, or if someone like me, like, they would be dressing up in the exact same way as the boys. But again, yeah, the girls would be dressing up the same. It's just I kind of lost my chance to wear like school uniform for girls' school uniform. I am never going to get that chance again. So I'm just upset about that. It's just my bias. But I think gender neutral school uniform is good, except my biases. Yeah, everything's fine. Working groups, assignments, excursions. I hardly went to excursions. My school didn't take us to any, unfortunately. Working groups for assignments, I don't think in my school I don't think students were segregated by gender for assignments. I don't remember actually. But yeah, I know schools, some schools do, a lot of them, but mine didn't. So mixed groups and everything should be allowed, yada yada yada. And this is another thing, like practical strategies for making schools sensitive and inclusive to transgender students. Now, creation of transgender children-friendly infrastructures, toilet facilities, common spaces. Start with toilets for CWSN, maybe earmarked gender-neutral toilets with transgender as well as CWSN get used. Yes, this is what I was talking about. Yeah, just extra toilet facilities. Discontinuance of binary practices. Emphasis on gender, yeah, the emphasis on gender, separate roles, functions, these are yeah, all of this. Yep. Yeah, there was this teachers must aim at developing culture of care without being judgmental is very much needed, because it was like this binary I cannot explain exactly, but it was always like guys and girls were treated differently. I cannot explain it. Even if the teacher was like, oh yeah, girl does it, they get punished, the boy does it, they get punished, they're treated differently. Very much like they're talked about differently. Even if the punishment stays the same, they're talked about differently and everything. Like when boys do something, like, see, the girls are so calm, like girls as a collective, not some individual, girls as a collective. And when girls do something, why are you behaving like the boys, like boys are supposed to be rowdy and everything? It's just weird. They don't let kids be kids. It's very weird. Sensitization of all teaching and non-teaching staff, isolation, harassment. Oh my gosh, this is good. Actually, I'm loving this. The document also calls for support mechanisms for the correct use of pronouns. Yeah, so I don't know if you're outside of India, I don't know, like pronouns is also a big thing in India. English is one of the official languages in India, and there are a lot of English medium schools where they teach in English and everything's in English. So correct pronouns will be very, very important. Like in Bengali, my native language, gendered pronouns aren't really a thing. Like it's just not gendered pronouns. In Hindi, verbs are gendered. These are the two biggest languages used in India. In Hindi, verbs are gendered. In Bengali, not even that. Like it's mostly non-gendered. Some like nouns are gendered, like different words for man and woman, kind of like that. But yeah, in Hindi, verbs are gendered. So even they have to, like, if it's the Hindi medium school, they have to keep note of that as well. Verbs, the gendered verbs in English, they have to keep regard, like the gender pronouns, they have to see with that. But yeah, this is I don't want to read this. I is too big. Um, the training manual also appears to lend its support to puberty blockers, medication that has gained widespread notoriety in recent times. The medicines are used to block development of puberty in children, which permanently alters their natural course of development. We are going with this again. So did they? I just want to confirm if they did mention puberty blockers at all in this. Please tell me. Also talk to students about puberty blockers, hormones. Okay. I'm not a medical expert, but I don't think puberty blockers are hormones. I could be wrong. They are hormone blockers. They block the puberty till a certain age when you decide to stop taking them, and you can like do whatever. You can either start, you can basically choose which puberty you want to go through, which would have been so important to me. I am going through puberty again right now, and I hate it. I hate parts of the puberty, but like I hate that I had to go through one puberty before this. The puberty I had to go through a boy's puberty, and I hate it. My voice got permanently altered. So should I like wait this like puberty in children which permanently alters their natural course of development? Well, not using puberty blockers also alters development in children. In my case, it's for the worse. In trans kids, in the cases of trans kids, it's just for the worse. I can't do this. I cannot debate. Like I cannot argue about puberty blockers right now. I don't understand why people don't get this. It's so simple, but fucking conservatives and their dumb ass brains. Oh my gosh. Netizens are not pleased with NCRT going. We are all in the gutter, blah blah blah. But some of us are looking at the stars and stripes. Oh, okay. What? Wait, what is that's from Borat? Oh my gosh, they're not happy with the NCRT importing disastrous American concepts in India. Oh my gosh! Trust me, if there's something not disastrous in America, it's probably the rights written on the books. I mean, I'm sure there are some really bad laws in America, but oh my gosh, they're blaming America for this. No, America is also not gotten its shit straight on this matter. They're like better countries like Canada and like Scandinavian countries. I think even Australia, I'm not sure, but like America has the same, like, you people exist in the US as well. You people are fucked up. Oh my gosh, I just can't. Who should we thank for dragging India toxically close to the United States? Who should we thank for dragging India toxically close to the United States? Like, hey, include trans students. No, this is American. See, these people think the toxic part of America is the acceptance of diverse gender identities. That's what these people think. Not the gun laws, not the bigotry, rampant racism in the America's like system, like the systematic racism there. The bigotry against these gender identities, those are not the toxic parts of America, not the toxic parts of the United States. No, actually being concerned for trans kids is the toxic part of United States. These people, oh my gosh, they eat it. Oh, I'm getting a headache. I'm just getting a headache. Like, oh my gosh. This is other fear that it will have a disastrous impact on Indian education. The one thing India always had great was great education foundation, making it easy for people to pursue STEM overseas. in ICSC system methods. Okay, now I'm from ICSC as well. But no, India's Great Education Foundation did not make it easier for people to pursue STEM. I mean, okay, it was better than a lot of countries, but India's education system is shit. It doesn't care about the students. People, so many people, like, if obviously you would get so many people in STEM overseas if you try to send everyone into STEM, every kid into STEM. That's what parents do. Like, if your kid doesn't take science when they graduate 10th grade and go to 11th, they'll look down upon. If they take humanities or commerce, they'll look down upon. That's like, just throw 500 million kids into STEM. Obviously, you will get a few hundred kids going overseas to pursue STEM. Oh my gosh. Oh my freaking gosh. If you just had sent, like, instead of like 500 million, 500,000 students into STEM, which would include the students who are genuinely interested and genuinely good in STEM, you would still get the same number of students going into STEM. Around the same number. If some student decided they're good at STEM but they don't want to take it, yeah, let's grant you that. But like, the students don't have a choice in the Indian education system and in the Indian society. They're very fucked up. It's very fucked up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I hate conservatives so much. Disaster unfolding. Instead of teaching Sanskrit, Shastras and a culture, gender fluidity is priority. I mean, they want students to learn a dead language, religious scripture. I think our culture is pretty much taught everywhere, like history is taught everywhere. At least I learned that. The beauty of this change is it immediately makes you long for the days when the government would brag they didn't change one line in our books. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's a... This is so bad. I can't take this anymore. I just can't take this anymore. Beginning of the end. Quite clearly, the suggestions and recommendations by NCRT do not have popular support. I mean, here's the thing. It's Op India. They obviously chose, like, the tweets they agree to could even be their members. This is very much their supporters. They chose those tweets and they put them in this article to show that these recommendations don't have popular support. And I agree that they don't have popular support, but not because of these tweets. I know, like, the Indian society is conservative. Like, the people who don't have access to internet are far more opposing to these recommendations. I'm pretty sure of that. However, they did not mention any posts or tweets that are in support of this. Like, I know them. I know plenty of people who love this. But now, guess what these people decide to show. However, I am pessimistic because I don't think this will happen. Because we will be coming to that. Yeah. So there have been intense efforts in the West to indoctrinate children into the gender identity ideology. It's not a freaking ideology. Giving people basic rights and necessities is not. Oh my god. Right. Which is, it appears the same as being imported in India without any due consideration by ideological zealots. This is hurting my brain so much. This is, I need a break. I need a break.
One eternity later.
So I am back. And with a new article on there, as you can see, that really hurt my brain. The Pop India article, oh my gosh. However, let's see what recent developments on this. This is just 1 day old as I'm reading this news. But yeah, let's see what this is. NCPCR issues notice to NCRT on transgender inclusion manual. Okay, let's see what this is about. Opposition to gender neutral toilets, puberty blockers for adolescents. Okay, of course I knew there would be opposition from the right wing article that read from before like these things even happened. We will take a look at that site again for the new article on this issue, but first we'll go through two more articles. So the first one is, following a right-wing backlash on social media and a complaint from former RSS Pracharak, I guess just I'll call him an RSS member or an activist, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, this is the Child Rights Department, like the Child Rights Institute, whatever you want to call it, council I guess, or the commission, whatever, has issued a notice to NCERT regarding its new training manual on inclusion of transgender children in schools. Vinay Joshi, a former RSS member and activist against fraudulent religious conversions, made the complaint to NCPCR, the Child Rights Commission, alleging that the manual was a criminal conspiracy to psychologically traumatize school students in the name of gender sensitization. Okay. I'm giving like basic human treatment to children. I'm concerned about their well-being, so let me treat them a little better. Now, what a criminal conspiracy! The screaming criminal conspiracy of this. Oh my gosh. I just took a break, I might need to get another one. Moving on, the main issues of contention were the manual's recommendation to use gender-neutral toilets and remove gender binaries in school infrastructure and processes. Such an approach will expose children to unnecessary psychological trauma due to contradictory environments at home and in school, say the NCPCR notice. So the Child Rights Commission, instead of actually looking after child rights, they say it will cause children unnecessary psychological trauma because their environments in home and in school will be different. Now, I agree to one thing. The environments at home and in school, they will contradict. The home environment is highly conservative. The school will be very progressive. This happens, which is unlikely in my opinion, but if. However, like that's like the job of like the government to like, you know, sensitize people on these issues. I guess not in India. Move on. The manual's suggestion to teachers to discuss the availability of puberty blockers or hormone treatments for adolescents experiencing gender dysphoria also came in for criticism. NCRT was asked to take appropriate action in rectifying the anomalies in the document. I mean, from the perspective of these people, I would say the entire document is an anomaly. Like, considering like the India's culture right now and these people, the conservatives, insane people, basically, the entire document is an anomaly. Verify the background and qualifications of the drafting committee members. I'm sure they're very qualified. And the application of commission of action taken within 7 days. The manual itself is no longer available on NCRT's website. Yes, so this is true. NCRT, as I was not hopeful, they got this notice and they immediately took down the manual. Now, I don't know about like if there would have been problems with them if they didn't, in which case I guess it's fine. But well, I am not very happy with that, of course. I will just go down and read what this is. Mr. Joshi, this is the RSS idiot, I guess. This is not Mr. Joshi, this is like the director of NCRT. This Joshi guy, that idiot, he says, there is respect for LGBTQ individuals in Indian society. No. But when nature has given you certain genders, trying to convince students that they might not be the same gender which to which they are born is just tampering and interfering with the natural process. If an individual student is intersex or feels any gender confusion, they can get the medical and psychological help that is needed. But it is absurd to create senseless confusion in a whole generation of young people in this. Wait, hold on. Isn't this the same argument everywhere? I guess they have only one dumb argument to make. This. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's the thing. If an individual student is intersex in India, if a kid is born intersex, there are two primary options that are taken, measures that are taken. Either the parents decides what's going to happen, how they're going to raise the child, or the Hijra community takes the child. They just give the child to the Hijra community. Sometimes maybe they kill the fetus in way, like I don't think that happens nowadays, but yeah, these are the two main things that happen. It is very unlikely that intersex kids grow up and later, I think that's my opinion. I don't have statistics right now to prove anything, but yeah. However, intersex people are not the only ones who experience dysphoria. People, I don't want to go through this. Mr. Joshi, who is a resident of Maharashtra, says his complaint was made on behalf of a group of activists and pro bono lawyers working on the banner of the Legal Rights Observatory. The LRO has been responsible for activism against religious conversion, alleged persecution of Hindus and indigenous communities in northeastern India, and at least 250 complaints to the Ministry of Home Affairs regarding the alleged misuse of foreign foster-care. So, okay, let's see. Activism against religious conversion. This is again the entire love jihad conspiracy. They just say that Muslims are trying to convert Hindu women so as to reduce the population of Hinduism. This is an entire like conspiracy. That's dumbest conspiracy. Alleged persecution of Hindus. It's not talking about the alleged persecution of Hindus in countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, etc. They are saying that Hindus are threatened in India, where they are the majority of over 75%. Oh my gosh. They actually think Hindus are being persecuted in India. Maybe some parts of India, like any parts, maybe some parts of like Kashmir where there's a lot of terrorist activities going on and stuff. But yeah, Indians in whole, like they don't like alleged persecution of Hindus. They think Hindus are being persecuted in freaking West Bengal. It's the state where I live. And no, that's not happening. And indigenous communities. I know in northeastern India, the people who are persecuting indigenous communities in northeastern India are these right-wing Hindus. At least 250 complaints to the Ministry of Home Affairs regarding the alleged misuse of foreign funds to NGOs. On Monday, NCRT was trending for a brief period on Twitter after right-wing website Op India posted an article. Yep, I read that article just now. Using the Council of Becoming Woke. It was subjected to an introduction section which... This is dumb. Why am I? Why is the world? Why is India? Why are conservatives? Oh my gosh. Moving on to the next article. Let's see. The headline of the article: NCRT takes steps to help teachers support transgender kids faces right-wing backlash. I'm just quickly going to go through this because this is a huge ass article and I am way too done with this shit. Okay, you can read this, I guess, if you want to, in the news minute, or you can just read them off. I'm too lazy to give links in the description, or I guess I can. I guess I will give links in the description for all the 5 articles that I'm going to show you. But yeah, I mean, and blah 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 blah. This yada yada yada. What is this exactly? Like, what is this talking about? I don't even have, like, after reading the Op India article, I lost like almost all of my brain cells, so I don't even like understand shit. What is this? What is? Can I like just quit? Just stop? Okay, here, backlash. After news of the material drew attention on social media, especially Twitter, Op India published multiple articles against its contents. I only have the energy to read about one. The main objections were with the document's acknowledgement that having toilets for boys and girls as binary can be confusing for gender non-conforming kids. Yes, the mention of caste patriarchy as one of the reasons transgender persons are relegated to stigmatized occupations, and also the mention of puberty blockers. While referring to gender-affirming hormone therapy, while some negative reactions were predicted owing to prevalent transphobia in this country, yes. Ramakrishnan says it's disheartening to see such vicious backlash to the extent that NCRT was forced to make the document private. The issue of binary toilets is raised in the training material as one of the problems with infrastructure. Drawing from transgender persons' experiences, it talks about conflict and discomfort of choosing a toilet for children whose self-perception does not match social expectations. However, the suggestion is not to do away with the present system, but to have additional options of gender-neutral restrooms and other spaces. Yes! Yes! This is what I was talking about. It's not to do away with binary that already exists. It's just there's an additional gender-neutral restroom. Yeah, I knew these people who would write that article would be. There's a kid crying outside. I don't know what's this about. Okay, I don't know any kids living nearby. There's just this random kid crying outside. Please don't pay heed to that. But yeah, I thought that these people would not be so dumb as to just do away with that system. Like, yeah. That would be very dangerous. Although I think that should happen eventually. That should be the goal. The other aspect which has been mentioned in the complaint to NCPCR is the mention of puberty blockers. This is again the Child Rights Commission, with complaint claiming that teachers have been told to discuss them with students. Yes, the document merely mentions it among the terms that teachers must be aware of, while those opposed to the manual have been triggering alarm by claiming that these treatments can cause permanent changes in the body. They don't. Endocrinologists assure they are very safe to use and their effects reversible. Yes. India is a conservative country, and this. So okay, here's the thing for Americans, Canadians, like right wing, whichever country has like a fucked up right wing against trans people. I guess that's every country. But yeah, I know, especially in the US, I know because I'm more familiar. I have a lot of American friends. I know the right wing there is also triggered heavily by puberty blockers, by mention of puberty blockers, and they use this same argument. And these people, I'm pretty sure these people are getting these arguments from those people as well, from the right wing in the US. Now, there's also like some people on the left in this discourse of puberty blockers, so like now puberty blockers shouldn't be allowed to practice, yada yada, like bullshit. And they say like one of the claims is that like even among like center left people, like yeah, academia has gone full woke with these, so they are just doing whatever the woke wants them to do, which is weird, which is dumb. However, India is a conservative country. India is a very conservative country. I know a lot of left-wing Americans think America is a conservative country. You people won't survive in India if you were born here. I mean, you would, but it's a lot worse. And endocrinologists here is sure they're safe to use. These people in India are in no pressure from any form of work, and they'll say these are safe to use and their effects reversible. So I guess you can, I don't know if you can, but I guess you can use this argument against, like, whenever you were debating that. I don't know, that's just something I thought of. But yeah, senior endocrinologist Dr. Sanjay Karwa says that puberty delays is a more appropriate term. Yeah, it's just offers a short, adding that they are commonly administered to cisgender kids as well when they face medical and psychological risk due to very early onset of puberty. Studies have shown positive outcomes in terms of psychological development and the child's acceptance in society once they go on GHT with pubertal suppression. Yes, says Dr. Shruti Chandrasekaran, a Chennai-based endocrinologist, while Dr. Karwa says that not availing hormone therapy can worsen the child's gender dysphoria and overall mental health. Hey, look, they're calling me out like this. Moreover, the treatment isn't very commonly administered in India. World Professional Association for Transgender Health guidelines followed by medical professionals reveal several checks, including assent from a mental health professional after extensive psychiatric counseling or psychotherapy, as well as parental consent for minors. According to these doctors, they say that administering pubertal suppressors is highly uncommon in India as parents don't consent to it. Yes, that's the exact thing. So I didn't even knew they have puberty blockers in India, to be honest, and even if they do, parents won't consent to it. It's fucking conservative. Parents are conservative, they will never consent to this. So yeah, I'm not at all surprised. Like, this won't even happen. The parents would just force the kid to act the gender they were assigned to at birth. They would just force the kid to do this. Like, medical health, like mental health awareness is very low in India. People think like, you don't go to psychiatrists or psychologists unless you go crazy or insane. So yeah, India is in a very sad situation. The mention of caste patriarchy has also triggered outrage, as it is being seen as an insult to Hinduism. I hope it is. I'm an atheist and I am very much against this. Incidentally, the training manual itself claims that there is evidence of expression of gender fluidity being socially accepted in Vedic literature. Saurav is also a Sanskrit scholar, points out the irony in people grumbling about the manual importing of Western ideology and asking NCRT to teach Sanskrit instead. I mean, yeah, kind of. The backlash is now weird to concerted while queerphobic attacks against online against some of the team members contributed to the manual, with their qualifications being questioned in a problematic manner based on their personal choices and self-expression. NCPCR has reportedly asked NCRT to take appropriate action based on the complaint and to rectify the anomalies. The entire thing is a fucking anomaly in the eyes of conservatives, you fucktard. I really hope they don't change anything. It's all so good, or if they really want to change it, just make it better somehow. I don't know, it's already so good. Like, from the little parts that I've seen, I don't know how you can make it better, but just make it better somehow. I don't know. The people opposing the training material claim to be protecting children's rights, but that's exactly what we have failed to do all these years for transgender children, says Saurabh, adding that while the hostility is expected, the NCRT and educators needs to stand their ground in students' interests. Yes, if NCRT decides that they will do this, like, they will stand their ground. I mean, they already deleted the manual from their website. I am also not very optimistic, but if they do this, I don't know, it will be very unexpected. It will be very surprising, but it will be a very pleasant surprise. I would love it if they do this. But we have one more article to go through, and it's again from Op India. And I think after going through this, I'll just die, I guess. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know. I'll just die for the next few months again. But yeah, let's go through this. The heading of the article is Child Rights Body Calls New Woke Guidelines by NCRT Conspiracy to Traumatize School Students, Asked to Remove Anomalies. The headline is false. If I remember correctly, the Child Rights Body did not call it a conspiracy to traumatize school students. It was the guy who filed the complaint, the fucking Hindutva guy, who called it a conspiracy to traumatize school students. So, unless I'm wrong, let's see. The guy was Joshi, Mr. Joshi. Okay, made the complaint alleging that the manual. Yep. So, Vinay Joshi made the complaint to NCPCR alleging this. NCPCR did not say this. This dumb fucks did. So yeah, it's wrong. The heading is wrong. But they just asked to remove the anomalies. So yeah, half of the heading is, I guess, I mean, this is one half and this is new, another half, but yeah, half of the heading is wrong. Let's see. On November 2nd, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has taken cognizance of the NCRT manual aimed at quote-unquote gender sensitization in schools. The NCPCR took cognizance of the matter under Section 13(1) of CPCR Act 2005 based on a complaint filed by one Vinay Joshi from Maharashtra. Okay, this is Lawbit. I have no idea what Lawbit is, this Twitter account, but yeah. Okay, this. Okay. In letter to Manoj Harsh Kumar, Secretary, NCRT, NCPCR Chairperson Priyank Kanugu inquired about the manual titled Inclusion of Transgender Children in School Education Concerns and Roadmap published by Department of Gender Studies at NCRT that deprive and violate child rights. Oh my gosh. NCPCR said that the complainant highlighted several points that are in violation of child rights. It said the text of manual suggests gender neutral infrastructure for children does not commensurate with gender realities and basic needs. Gender realities? Also, the idea of creating removing binaries shall deny them equal rights of children of diverse biological needs. No, that's not what it means to remove gender binaries. Oh my fucking gosh, these people are idiots. Oh my god. I'm just going to break down after this, I'm sorry. My god, I'm just going to finish this article real quick and go and have a freaking breakdown. I can't take this. It further added that the approach taken in the manual would expose the children to unnecessary psychological trauma as they would face contradictory environments at home and in school. They will face this, but it's the home that is the problem, not the school in this hypothetical scenario. If the manual comes in play. The complainant further objected to the point where manual suggested that teachers should discuss puberty blockers and their availability for adolescents with students. Of course, the NCP's comments. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what is this? Gender is biological and is a natural and organic process. Complaint says. Okay, let's look at this. Gender is biological. Debated. But now before the left people on the left in support of this the manual come after me, in my opinion, and I think I've read some scientific articles quite a while ago to support this. It might have changed, there might be new studies, I don't know, but this is what I think right now. I am very open to changing my mind. Gender is not one thing. Gender is two things: gender identity and gender expression. Now, gender expression is certainly not biological, it's completely like social. How do I put it? What's the word again? Like thingy? Social influence, the influence of society. That's not the word I was looking for, but I'll go with that. And gender, that's for gender expression. However, gender identity, there's, I think there have been some research done to show that it could be biological. It is not by birth, however it is biological. There's some, like, it's not completely biological, there's still some influence of like the social things, the social influence on that. It's not completely biological, but to an extent it is biological. Now, I'm not a medical person, I'm not a scientist either. Just, you can verify your own claims, I guess. You can just Google it, ask some expert. I don't know, this is what I think, and I'm very open to change it if I'm presented with better research or better papers or anything. He claimed, okay, no, here in the complainant specifies several points that were wrong in the manual. He said the manual about gender sensitization, but gender is biological and natural, blah blah blah, and is an identity that remains with from individuals throughout their life. Okay, so here's the thing: gender is biological. Okay, going away from that discussion, is a natural and organic process. Gender is not a process. I don't know. I mean, does he know the words he's using? Like the complainant, this Joshi guy, does he have any idea of the gender is not a process? What? Yeah, it's an identity. Like gender identity is an identity. It is not a process. I don't know. Like, can anyone make sense of this? Like, is gender a process? I'm sorry. He claimed that the drafting committee members are criminally conspiring to deny the gender rights of children by forcing them to identify as gender neutral psychologically and in contradiction to the biological reality. Now, that is their biological reality, you fucktard. He further added that the process would expose children to two very contradicting environments on a daily basis, one at home and one at school, that would expose the students to unnecessary trauma. So hey, kids can't like, will have some contradictions like in their homes will be like very ancient, so let's not progress at all. I mean, well, I guess conservatives would love that, not progressing at all. But yeah, I guess like, why make any progress? Why make any progress if something we have right now is going to contradict that progress? Hey, we have I don't know, what do we have right now? Oh, we have no, we have cancer right now. Oh, no, we can't like progress to us, like we cannot have cancer defeating medical research studies, meds, whatever, surgeries, whatever, because that's going to be contradicting. Like kids, like the parents might not be that educated. Kids will hear from their parents that cancer is incurable, and you're just teaching in the school that cancer can be cured. That's not like how it, like, come on, the kids will be confused, right? It's not like the parents can learn new things, the families can learn new things. I don't know, why teach the families new things? Let's just leave cancer at being incurable. Oh my gosh, this is so disturbing. Is this the complaint? I don't want to go through this. One major point that has raised eyebrows is where the manual talked about gender neutral washrooms. The complainant added that a male, female, or transgender child has separate needs regarding access to basic facilities like toilets, hostels. While the manual alleged such different facilities create division among genders, in reality such access to separate basic facilities empower different genders by providing them access to the facilities. Why can't you have all the facilities in one washroom? I don't know, is there like something preventing people from having all those facilities in one washroom? Like, you can have urinals and free sanitary products all in the single washroom. I don't know, this just a random idea. He said, hence the suggestion of drafting committee to remove toilets catering from basic all also criminally motivating to deny to remove toilets catering for the no one we read it in the last article, right? No one is freaking removing the system, they're just adding an extra freaking toilet. Oh my gosh, these people, they're so brain dead. Oh my gosh. The complainant urged NCPCR to take strict action against the drafting committee members who were involved in a criminal conspiracy to harm children, psychologically traumatize them, and force them from their rights to identify themselves with the biological. No one is forcing them from their rights to identify with the mean sex, the gender assigned at birth. No one is forcing them. What? Oh my gosh. What? Allowing trans kids to identify with the gender, like legally and officially, like identify socially, identify like the gender they identify with, is not forcing cis kids to identify with a different gender. Is that so hard to understand? Oh my. After outrage, Institute has blocked access to the manual. One of the notable concerns with the team behind the manual was the inclusion of one Vikramaditya Sahai, who has posted indecent posts across all their social media accounts. I really need to look up who this Vikramaditya Sahai is. Okay. I really need to. I will just look it up. Vikramaditya Sahai. Please. Okay, I think I found their Twitter handle. Oh no, it's Instagram. The account is private. Queer. I need to see that. Do they have Twitter? Anything? Please. Okay, so as I can see, this Vikramaditya Sahai is a queer person. Not surprised. And these people are very pissed at them. Okay, so this is a tweet from this person. These are seemingly Hindu rituals, a religion built on the appropriation and oppression of more than 80% of those it subsumes under its hideous caste system. There's nothing cute about this. They would invite and feed dogs that engage with Dalit people. Yeah, that is very true about Hinduism. What I can see is, if I go to their Instagram handle, it's private. I will follow them actually. I cannot find their. Oh wait, I can just get the Twitter handle from the screenshot, right? At vqueeram. At vqueeram. Okay, it's private. I will still give them a follow. I will follow them, and on Instagram as well. I have requested to follow this person. I hope they accept. But the Op India article, wait, let me just show you. Yeah, so this is a person. Their it's private. The tweets are private, and the Instagram is also private. I won't show you the Instagram because I don't want people to know my Instagram account like right now from here. But yeah, so they said this person has posted indecent posts all across the social media. I can't see what they posted, but if it is anything like their profile picture, they just posted pics in lingerie. I guess that's what they're calling indecent. So it's the modesty culture. And I don't think it's just modesty culture. It's because I think Vikramaditya, like from their name as well, and they had facial hair shadows marks, that they are probably queer, like AMAB. They were assigned male at birth, so them wearing lingerie is also like questionable by conservatives, so that could be a reason. But anyways, I went through 5 articles. 2 of them were far right dumb fuckery, I don't know, but yeah, I am very tired after reading those, so I'll go take a break, another long break. I don't know when I'll make another video, and I'm again sorry to have not made any videos this long, but I hopefully I will be back. And yeah, if you like my content, or if you can support me in any way, because I'm undergoing transition, and also other things, like if you want to support, there's a link to my Patreon in the description below. Please consider joining as a patron. If as soon as I gain patrons, I will start uploading Patreon exclusive videos. And yep, see you until next time. Bye bye.